Good morning, friends. Welcome to Take Two for this Thursday, the 18th of July, 2019. I'm Jeannie. I'm so glad you decided to take a few minutes out of your morning and join me today, or wherever you are in the world. It might be evening, it might be tomorrow, but wherever you are in the world, thank you, boys and girls, for joining me today. I have a little bit more of a serious note that I'd like to share some thoughts with you on today, and I'm entitling today's Take Two, Is My Life Worth It? You know, sometimes we'll have a low self-esteem, sometimes we'll be going through various troubles in our lives, and it causes us to stop and analyze if our life is really worth it or not going on. And there are a lot of people who are living in despair, and a lot of desperate folks out there. I started thinking today while I was on my mobile device and I was looking at the headlines, and there was a very tragic story there about what happened in Birmingham, Alabama, about 200 miles from here. But of course that's regional news, and I'm sure it might even be national news now. But sadly there was a shootout between a young man and two police officers, resulting in the death of the young man. Now what happened was this young man went into a convenience store and tried to rob it, and then he just opened fire and just started shooting willy-nilly in the convenience store. And so police were called out to the scene, and he ended up shooting one of the police officers 7 times. Thankfully, the police officer survived and is in stable condition now. The other police officer was forced to jump from a high part of the building down to the ground, and he was badly injured, but he's okay now too. Sadly though, out of all of that, he was firing so vehemently at the police had no choice but to subdue him, and he ended up losing his life. Now, please understand, I am not against the police doing what they had to do. They did their jobs and did it well. They had no choice but to subdue this young man because he was shooting at them, violently shooting at them, causing them to have to subdue the situation, and they did. I'm sure that they analyzed the situation every way they possibly could to say, is there a way that we could stop this young man without having to take his life? But sadly, that's the way it ended up. And I started thinking about what the attitude of this young man may have been going into that convenience store to commit this robbery. Did this young man have a drug habit and he needed money for drugs? Was he going in there for the thrill of it? Was he going in there because he needed food for his family? Was he going in there to rob the store for any number of different reasons? Maybe he was hungry and just wanted to steal some food. I don't know what it was. All I do know is that it ended up tragically, and just like that, this young man, his life snuffed out, just like that. You know, while I was on my mobile device and I was listening to this story on the news and reading it about this robbery, at the same time a text bing popped in, and the text came down, and after I got done finishing the article about the robbery, I looked at my text, and it was a family member who had gone through a medical test this morning. And it was good news, because this same test, where in the past has had unfavorable results, today an all clear was given, and very favorable results. And we rejoiced together over the good news that it was a positive, good result on this test. Now, this person who sent me the text, the family member who had the medical test, is obviously much older than this young man who was killed yesterday. And I thought to myself, okay, now my relative's life, yes, definitely worth it. Was it worth going through whatever had to be done, testing, what have you, to make sure that their life was worth it? Yes. But what about this young man who went in there? You know, I have to say this, the minute that young man walked into that convenience store with robbery and shooting a gun on his mind, he made the choice right then and there. He made a choice that there would be possible consequences, and the choice he made was that his life wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth it. It was worth the risk to possibly be killed or get arrested and put in prison or what have you. Who knows? Maybe he already has a record with the police department. Maybe he's already committed a number of crimes. His name and his situation was not released except to say that he was just a young man. So he could have been a teenager. He could have been a man in his 20s. I don't know. But the point is this. He was considerably younger than my family member who had these medical tests and just wants to continue living to have a good full life. But what was this young man's future in his mind? Was his future getting to the next crack pipe? Was his future scrounging to live and survive? Was his future, I want to be a big time a criminal or gang member? What was his future? Was his life worth it? Just like that, snuffed out. How sad is that? So this is what I'm going to tell you today, boys and girls. Listen very carefully to what I have to say. You are worth it. Your life is worth it. You are worth it. Go be a blessing to somebody today, okay? You might end up being the only one who is. And if you know somebody out there who asks the question, am I worth it? Is my life worth it? I might as well snuff it out. No, you go encourage them and tell them, Jeannie says your life is worth it. Not only me, but the Lord says it too. Your life is worth it, okay? And if there's some changes you need to make because in your heart you're saying, well, I don't know if I was this way or I was that, then go ahead and make those changes, boys and girls, because you are worth it. Now, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Jeanne Sigler, Jeanne Sigler. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the little notification bell so you'll know next time I post another Take Two. And don't forget to listen to some great music and some great programming on WRMZ.org. Click the listen button, okay? All right. I love you all very much. Sorry if I'm kind of a Debbie Downer today, but that really profoundly hurt me, and my heart was just wrenched when I imagined that young man now snuffed out, and he doesn't get a second chance. But guess what? You do. I'll see you all tomorrow for my Unsung Hero of the Week. I love you. Bye-bye.